Now at the bottom of the hour on the CNN Sunday Morning, I'm TJ Holmes. Welcome back, everybody. Let's give you a look at some of the stories making headlines. The Souris River is beginning to crest in Minot, North Dakota, expected to rise 12 feet over flood stage, but still expected to stay several inches below what they thought they'd get. It should start to slowly fall, maybe starting tonight. You can see, though, what it looked like yesterday in Minot, about 4,000 homes underwater, more than a third of the city evacuated. People who stayed behind have been told to boil their tap water for at least a minute before using it. Also, look at this cell phone video here of that deadly tractor-trailer Amtrak train collision near Reno, Nevada. 6 people died when the truck slammed into the moving Amtrak train. Some of the passengers jumped from the burning train. Investigators say they have not accounted for all of the passengers. And Gay Pride on full display in the streets of San Francisco. The annual Gay Pride weekend kicked off yesterday despite a financial crisis within the organization over the past year. The nonprofit that produces the parade came up with enough cash and sponsors to keep it running for its 41st year. Well, 2 of the men running for president are Mormons. Former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney has embraced his faith publicly. Former Utah Governor Jon Huntsman says that while he considers himself a Mormon, he also draws inspiration from other faiths. Both men face potential backlash from those suspicious of the Mormon faith. The official name of the Mormon Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And joining me now to talk about what Mormons believe is Anthea Butler, Associate Professor of Religious Studies at the University of Pennsylvania. Ma'am, thank you so much for being here. I was talking to you in the break. You said if you walk down the street and ask people, what are Mormons, what do they believe? You said they would have no idea. Would most even know that Mormons are Christians?
No, TJ, they would not. And some of them would tell you that they don't believe that Mormons are Christians. But I think they fit within the rubric of what is Christianity, albeit that they have some very different beliefs. Okay, let's start with, and it seems like the Mormon faith starts with the Book of Mormon. That's correct. And Joseph Smith, who is the founder and the prophet of Mormonism, discovered this book through the angel Moroni, who he had a vision of in the forest behind his home, what now Mormons call the Sacred Grove in Palmyra, New York. And he was directed to a hill, Cumorah, which is not that far away from where his family home was, and found some golden plates which were translated through various ways and various different accounts about how they were translated. And that became the Book of Mormon, which is called also, in the parentheses, another testament of Jesus Christ. Okay, Book of Mormon versus the Bible. The Mormon faith uses both. I guess what's the difference and how do they discern which is which and when to use? How does that work, the relationship between the 2 books? Well, the relationship between the 2 books is, for Christians, the Bible is it. And there's a piece of Revelation that says no one shall add to the book. But the Mormons consider this to be another testament of Jesus Christ because it doesn't end with Jesus just simply ascending into heaven. It ends with Jesus coming to the Americas to speak to the Native Americans about his message. And so this is what's very different about the Book of Mormon. And it's used just as much as a tool in Mormonism as Christians would think about the Bible. So for them, it's a very important book. Okay, how, I guess, is Jesus revered? You spoke of Joseph Smith, who found the golden plates, translated this into the Book of Mormon. But how do Mormons view Jesus Christ? Is he revered the same as in other faiths? And you referred to Joseph Smith as a prophet. I guess, where do these 2 kind of compare as far as being revered by the Mormons? Well, let me just back up a little bit. Okay. Before Joseph Smith finds the Book of Mormon, he has a vision, and he has a vision of God the Father, which in Mormonism is also called Heavenly Father, and Jesus. And Jesus is the Son of God, okay? He's not exactly the way the Christians think about this as God himself, although in Mormonism you can become a God, but that's another piece of the theology. So you need to think of these as 2 different entities, and God and Jesus both have physical form. And so that's very important. That's a very important distinction between Mormonism and what I would consider to be, mainstream Christianity. All right, tick off a couple of things. You kind of hit on it there, but I guess people try to understand the difference. So give us just a few here in the short time I have left. The difference between Christianity, as most people would see it as mainstream Christianity, and the beliefs of Mormons. I guess point out some of the key differences. Yes. Okay. Well, first, Mormons believe in a pre-existent life. You have a soul that is here before you come to earth, and you have made a decision whether or not to follow Heavenly Father. So when someone's born on earth, that means that you've made the correct decision to follow Heavenly Father, and you're born into a body on earth to continue to work out your salvation in a sense. And then after that, in the afterlife, you could go to 1 or 3 different heavens. Okay. And Christianity, you don't talk about a pre-existence. You're born, you work things out. If you're an evangelical Christian, you believe if you can be saved or not. And then you have a choice of going to heaven or hell, correct? So those things are different. You also have a difference about what books you revere or not. In addition to the Book of Mormon, the Mormons also have other books, Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price. There's a whole nother canon for Mormons that is different than Christianity.
All right. Well, Anthea Butler, ma'am, there's so much more I'd like to talk to you about, and I would like to reserve the right to give you a call later, because this is probably going to be a big part of this political campaign, depending on how Huntsman and maybe Romney do along the way. That this is a conversation we should continue to have. But Anthea Butler, man, we appreciate your time this weekend.
Thank you so much. Take care.
All right, and for more stories about faith, you can go to our Belief blog. That's at CNN.com/belief. You know, that 37 minutes past the hour, we have been telling you certainly a sad weekend here for a lot of us at CNN and our CNN family. We have lost one of our CNN originals. Former CNN sports anchor Nick Charles died yesterday at the age of 64. He had been battling bladder cancer for the last couple of years. Last hour, I talked with our Sanjay Gupta, who had the chance to sit down with Nick earlier this month.
He was told in 2009 that he essentially had about 2 years to live. And, you know, what would you do with that information? What would you change about your life? Would you dream bigger? Would you get into day-tight compartments? He did a little bit of both, a lot of short-term goals, but also his dreams got even grander, it seemed. He has a 5-year-old daughter, so he wanted to plan for her life. It's just a very inspiring guy.
Now, Nick Charles died just a week before his 65th birthday. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends. Nick Charles, dead at the age of 64.
Okay, people, show me the best way to design a vacation on a budget with